conversation to be recorded. And please ensure that your microphone is muted. And you can also ask a question during the final Q&A by using the feature in the Teams for the question and answer, or if it's not available there, you can put it in our chat anytime. And then today, because did I see Mr. Aslam today? Okay, so okay, we will continue to start this session with Mr. Shumon Zihady, and he already joining with ADPC Academy for the past 2 months as an intern or of our training and research activity. And he also brings an academic background in a disaster and policy management and has already contributed to several our key programs as a GC in DRR training, the regional workshop on climate finance, urban resilience, and environmental management training, and most recently, disaster risk management for sustainable development with emphasis on emergency response. And today, we're gonna have a podcast style conversation. I'll be asking Mr. Shumon about his learning journey, the surprises he encountered, his contribution to our program, and his evolving understanding of how emergency response connect to long-term community resilience. Okay, Mrs. Shumon, welcome. It's great to have you here today. I will put
thank you, Hafsa. Thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe you can introduce a little more about yourself before we start.
Okay. Thank you, Hafsa, for a bit of introduction about me and what I have done by this time and how we're working with what we are dealing with basically. So I'd like to thank the whole team, ADPC team, with whom I'm working and learning and also trying to contribute. And also I'd like to thank the guests joined today to be with us, to discuss with us, to put some questions or comments on that. So I'm Muhammad Shumon Zihady. I have been pursuing my PhD, Doctor of Philosophy in Asian Institute of Technology on Development and Sustainability. And also I'm doing an internship here in Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, ADPC headquarters in Bangkok. So that's the thing I'm drilling right now, and we are gonna deep inside how we are going to contribute in disaster risk reduction and how it's gonna affect my academic journey, and also it's showing the way to contribute in ADPC, also in the society as a whole. Thank you, Hafsa.
Okay, thank you. So, Shumon, now let's start the beginning. You recently transitioned from this academic study of DRR and to actually support real training programs here at the ADPC. What has that shift have been like for you? Like, what you learned here? What surprised you the most? Can you give the explanation about that?
Okay, thank you, Hafsa. Actually, for better understanding, I think I should share my screen to show some of the evidences and some of the ideas, keywords for the better understanding of our audiences and of our participants today. So that will be great, I think.
Yeah, sure. Can share.
So you can see my screen.
Yes. Let's open.
Okay, so as you were asking me that how was the journey of it's kind of transformation. It's a transformation. It's a shift from academia to practical life implications and applications. So in my academic journey, what I understood it basically it's a theoretical frameworks to applied training delivery. In academic journey, I understood how the theories were formed, how theories and terms and basic terminologies are created, and what does it really mean. But working in ADPC, it's a transformation to the applied training delivery. Also, the trainees, how they're affecting our real life disaster management and disaster risk reduction. Exposure to operational realities behind DRR concepts. Key learning from hands-on DRR training. Academia is a key learning process here, but working in ADPC is kind of hands-on DRR training support to the participants from different background, variety of professionals, and different context, social settings, concepts and models. So it's kind of the journey from theories to practice is a transformation from academic and global foundations, such as Sendai framework, Paris Agreement, or the JC principles for gender equality and social inclusion, sustainability and systematic thinking and public policy on emergency management theories. So these shifts to case studies. When I work in ADPC for with training modules, group works of the participants, I understood how cases happened, how occurrences affected our local communities, our vulnerable groups. For example, even how these training modules are being penetrated as adult learning principle for with local cases and relevant sectors or multi-country perspectives. There are different countries, different social settings, different environmental hazards, different environmental threats. These are not the same. So we can measure the academic frameworks with different social settings through our participants of our academy. Then ADPC training programs, different training programs I have participated and I have contributed, tried to contribute by this time. For example, JC India, urban resilience and environmental management. So when we work with urban resilience and environmental management, I understood how the system theories, an urban is a system of systems. So participants from different areas, they have their own feedbacks, they have their own ideas. And also climate finance, the whole climate finance architecture. Nowadays, the whole global community are pushing and emphasizing on grant-based climate finance, not loans or debts. So there are, I mean, issues that we can, and I understood from very academia to practice, and it's not controversial. Rather, it's complementary. It gives me supplementary information. And
Mm,
also, there are ground impacts uh, of our participants who got the training from ADPC. So this is
mm,
it. I mean, it's a very
yeah.
positive. And also, I faced challenges, but it was not challenge. It's like surprising something, and it's very
Mm,
positive. It's exciting that
mm,
how I'm applying my knowledge to ADPC Academy, and also the participants. Also, they are giving us feedback, providing us feedbacks. So it's a two-way traffic of learning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really good experience and how interesting how we communicate with all these community and
Exactly.
all the people, right? Because we
Exactly.
working with the different social different setting, different behavior, and it sounds like working with the diverse participant from different how this setting has been quite eye-opening for you to, yeah, that's great. And you've been working particularly too on the disaster risk management for sustainable development with a focus
Yeah.
on emergency response. How has your time at ADPC shaped your understanding of emergency response and its role to the sustainable development? Mm,
Yes, it's
mm,
a very critical question. Like we know that you can see that disaster management, it has different frameworks provided by international communities like United Nations or
mm,
UNDRR, UNEP, different wings of United Nations. And also ADPC has our own observation, has we have our own research findings. So there are some standards. There are some standards. The whole policymakers, respondents, and stakeholders, they work on those frameworks. So my understanding has, I mean, it has deepened and it has I got a 360 degree of emergency management. For example, when I studied emergency
Mm,
management from academia, I didn't see much of the variety, much of the perspective that we are seeing now. So the whole world is dealing with the situation of climate change induced disasters, and there are standards like sphere handbooks, Sendai framework, and
mm, mm,
also,
mm,
I mean, AAP approach that emphasize that when we respond to a disaster, we have to maintain some standards. For example, we cannot do harm while responding. We cannot exacerbate, we cannot deteriorate the situation while respond. We cannot make distinctions among gender, among male, female, among normal people and with special needs. We have to very inclusive while responding. So these it basically working in ADPC gave me a 360 degree of disaster emergency responses. Like for example, you can see here that our my understanding has deepened in a way that the emergency response should be people centered and right based approach. While you respond, we need to be very careful. We need to be very aware about people, community, different community groups, and their rights to privacy, their rights to information. As I explained you a little bit earlier, that do not harm. We cannot uh, create any trouble. We cannot exacerbate or who are working in this sector or expose people to any more risks while we respond. Then participation and exclusion. Policymakers, NGOs, private sectors, we must work collaboratively. We need
mm,
to open our space to participate. Most importantly, we forget the community groups who are the vulnerables, who are the first line respondents, and we do not make it inclusive sometimes. So these different aspects of same thing emergency response gave me a very holistic idea and a 360 degree, as I say, an inclusion of women, children, all the elderly persons with disabilities, and also transparency. The whole procedure should be transparent, clear, and accountable to the people who is affected. It's not just only accountable to the government. It's not just only accountable to the international donors. People or stakeholders sometimes think that we are okay. We are accountable to the government. We are accountable to the United Nations. We are accountable to the uh, ADPC, whatever. So it's okay. No, it should be accountable to the community who are we are really working for. And for emergency response, there is two very important coordinating mechanism. One is emergency operations center, and other is incident command system. Emergency operations center is the brain of emergency response. This center is it makes the plan for any disaster, for example, flood. It connects to the early warning system. Most importantly, the community-based early warning system, and it uses real-time data. Now we are really the world is based on data, and data is it plays significant role
mm,
and strengthen coordination and communication among other stakeholders, link with community-based mechanisms, integrate nature-based solution. Now we really emphasize on nature-based solution, not just only the gray infrastructure. We have to empower our community. We have to utilize the best utilize of our nature and efficient logistics and resource mobilization and learning after the flood, I mean, after the disaster, what we learned. So this component is very important that I learned when I worked with ADPC, most importantly with the disaster management for SDG and also incident command system. You know, in from the very local government to the central government, there should be an incident command system that composed of all the stakeholders. But there is a commander, there's a chief commander who commands based on all the data, from all the feedbacks of the stakeholders like finance officer, stakeholders like social protection officer or relief department. And he will also have a communication with public information officer, safety officer, and the liaison officer. So we're saying that we are mentioning that incident command system, but basically it's the coordinating body. He will coordinate among all the stakeholders during emergency response. If coordination mechanism doesn't work properly, every effort will end in smoke, and the vulnerability and the hazard will turn into a massive disaster only because of the coordination. So incident command system, how we are operating the operations section is very important. How we are planning, how we are using our GIS data, how we are using our meteorological data, and how we are we are operating our logistics, transport, our telecommunication providers, our telecommunication mechanisms, or our private supplies. So who professionals or practitioners who are working in disaster management, our participants coming, our trainees coming from different professions, they have different backgrounds. I mean, that they are not like, you will be astonished, Hafsa, that they are not like that they are working in this profession.
Mm,
They're
mm,
coming from
mm,
different backgrounds because they need disaster management inform skill. So this is not just me, that Shuman has got
mm.
this kind of different types of in-depth knowledge, 360-degree. Our participants, our trainees, they have also a different understanding based on this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I can give you an example, Hafsa.
Okay.
Recently, and also our guest today who joined today, they know that recently Sri Lanka faced a
Mm,
devastating cedar cyclone, I mean cyclone storm, that is called Ditwa, and
mm.
it caused massive destruction in Sri Lanka. And I'm really proud that ADPC has contributed with other international bodies in making a joint rapid need assessment. In my academic journey, I learned that, okay, we need to make a rapid needs assessment, but how it happens, how we create a need
Yeah,
assessment report, and how other organizations, for example, we need, during disaster, we need food, we need water and sanitation, we need medication, we need shelter. So different international bodies, they work with different aspects and create a need assessment. So I understood, and I have the opportunity to see this, to go through this rapid joint need assessment report. And I think it's also a great opportunity. It also shifts my understanding from academia to reality. Over to you,
mm,
Hafsa.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. This is a very comprehensive perspective, right? And then this sample also give us a new uh seeing like how we gonna work, how we work in the ADBC, and that's also the important things, that the connection between the immediate response and the long-term resilience is also a crucial connection. That's why we need to work to
Exactly. I
all
want to
that.
add one thing. You
Mhm.
said me that how this response is connected to sustainable development. So what I
Mm,
understood that the basically sustainability comes from a very well coordinated successful response. So we call it
mm,
response to resilience. If the
yeah,
response is well coordinated, it's successful, then the door of sustainability or resilience opens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. And that's a really great understanding about how we work here, and what we get insight from ADPC. And now let's talk about this your specific contribution in your uh current position, and what the specific what you improving yourself to the training models here at the ADPC Academy. Can you also share some example of how the feedback, like what you already said before, the feedback is like a kind of different, and uh, how to generate all those challenges that you get from that feedbacks, and how you do it with all these trainings. Yeah.
Okay, regarding my contribution, yes, I think I'm trying my best and I'm satisfied because it's not my credit. Because I would say
Mm,
that the best part of working in ADPC is that ADPC doesn't consider its interns as an outsider or as
mm,
a temporary something. ADPC
mm,
considers its interns a team member. So
yeah.
it opens up everything, resources, access to informations, and a whole team starts supporting him or her. So it's a great opportunity for me that there is space to contribute. So I have got this opportunity, and I'd like to thank my team, like Bill Ho, Mr. Tariq, Mamata Hena. I also worked with Mamata Hena and Didi, the climate
Mm,
finance expert, and also you, because for this program we worked with so many different issues. So
yeah.
this environment that you are being considered as a very valuable team member, so it gives you the opportunity to contribute.
Mm,
However, I mean, for more specific information, I can say
mm,
that
mm,
I have the opportunity to analyze participants' expectation. I mean,
mm,
when we opens up a training program and when you launch a training program, we have an option that what our participants really expect from us, from our experts. So I have the opportunity to analyze what they really want and also participant needs and professional backgrounds. So as we have data that from which background they are and what they really want, so we can make a correlation among their needs and
mm,
what we should do to enhance their skill. Because ADPC Knowledge Academy works with capacity development program. Today we are also I mean commencing our training program. Everybody is working there. Also, I'll also be contributing there. So we are conducting capacity development programs and also real life ADPC project. ADPC has so many projects in different countries around Asia and the Pacific. So we have our case study data that we can analyze to improve our participants' understanding, our participants' skill and capacity. Also, we create some scenario based learning because, disaster doesn't affect every country in the same way, every social
yeah.
setting in the same way, every community in the same way. It has different way of affecting, different
Mm,
way of affecting women, different way of affecting disabled person, different state like Maldives, Bangladesh, India, Thailand, and now we are experiencing a Southeast Asian flood massively. So we have different scenario settings and learnings for analysis learnings. Ensured coherence with the international framework. Obviously, we need to make it consistent and what we do with Sendai framework. And recently we have experienced the COP30 in Belém, Brazil. So what are the findings? What international bodies, international scholars are suggesting us? Facilitation. I have the opportunity to facilitate designs, group works, or
mm,
resilience action planning. Our participants make action plans, how they can create their community resilient, how can reduce the disaster risk among their own settings. So here in ADPC, they create their own action plan, working together, ensuring the best coordination. And I have the opportunity to facilitate those group
mm,
works and action plan makings, and coordination bridge between experts. Okay, this is a very fantastic thing. I really enjoyed. That is, as an intern, I had the opportunity to communicate with experts from Asian Institute of Technology, expert from IUCN, expert from
yeah.
GIG, expert from UNEP.
Mm,
So because as an intern, I mean role to communicate with experts to manage the sessions. And in this way, I learned so many things from the experts outside ADPC,
mm,
and also
yeah.
so this is the same thing I said already. I mentioned you. This is the graph that what I did, what in which way I tried to contribute from participants' expectation, feedback analysis, or communicating. So this is all way a graph, basically. And
Mm.
also, Hafsa, I would like to mention one thing that ADPC gives us a space to innovate. I
Mm.
mean, my team lead or my team members always say that, okay, if you find anything, as I am doing a PhD in development and sustainability, if you find anything that is understudied, that is a gap we can work with. ADPC is always open to work with something new, propose something
Mm.
new. And recently, I have proposed two different things. That is connecting human resources for resilience. How we can connect the skill of a day laborer, electrician, a boatman, a mason, or a woman that has a who has a special skill during disaster, how we can connect human resources, I mean labor geography, to resilience, and also land ownership with resilience. In some
Oh,
countries
yeah.
there are land disputes among common
Mm.
peoples, too many cases
Mm. Yes.
in courts. So I found out that if we can study land resource ownership and management with resilience, that can have something new that we can make our community more resilient. So I offered my team that, okay, can we work on that? And they're also considering this. So it's a great space to innovate, I think. Over to you, Hafsa. Thank you.
Yes, that's really great example that how you gather all those feedback and you can drive to have a real improvement and you give us all this innovation and this improvement. Thank you so much, Suan. And this is
Thank you.
making everything's become like more effective. And how
Yeah.
we speak about this effectiveness, how do you evaluate like whether a training program on disaster management is actually effective in the practice? What approach or tools that you have found that is really useful, because now you already have this new innovation and then new improvement. Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of very critical, but
Mm,
internationally, we have some accredited models to assess whether a training is effective or not.
mm,
But yet we have space to think critically, uh, because it's disaster. It's very
mm,
difficult
mm,
to
mm, mm, mm.
measure how our trainees are, I mean, improving while responding to disaster. But if we can think it's a research, how our training programs are contributing to our
Mm,
participants, our trainees. So we have some some components to assess. For example, we get feedbacks from our participants. It kind of blended of online and face-to-face training programs. And this way, professional skills and behavioral change, how our participants are changing, improving their skills, and how they're experiencing their behavioral change. And also policy decisions, whether is there any change in policy decisions, better framework management and decision making, or also the final stage, any improved response in risk reduction while
mm,
disaster
mm,
is on the way, and what is their response, and response to resilience, how they are acting for future sustainability and resilience. So we have some models. I said you that internationally there are some models that ADPC also follows this kind of models.
mm, mm,
That
mm,
is
mm.
said Kirkpatrick model, OECD DSE evaluation criteria, Organization of Economic Coordination and Development, and also Sendai framework itself has four priorities. So whether they are our participants are prioritizing those or not. So to catch up the information, the data on the feedback, we use pre and post course evaluation form. We
Oh,
have
mm,
participation reflection. We have group exercises. There you can understand how they are each of the participants contributing, how they are making their action plans. We can measure that. And performance during the scenario based activities and case studies. whether they are explaining their own cases, their own contextual settings in our framework, and also group work presentation. When they present their group works, it's really easy to catch up their skills, the level of their critical thinking. And also we conduct online surveys and we receive the data and we can synthesize those data, visualize those data. And
Mm.
this is a very this is an example like how we use we use our components. It's a overall course evaluation form. We also have our pre-evaluation from post evaluation from everything. So they can give feedbacks on those. We have quite a lot very positive feedbacks mostly. And this is the Kirkpatrick model. You say that what we really analyze, what organizations benefit resulted from the training. To what extent did participants change their behavior back in the workplace as a result of the training? To what extent did participants improve knowledge and skills and exchange attitudes as a result of training? How did participants feel about the training program? So if you go right now in the our forms that the right objective of the training activity clearly presented where so these questions, our questions, reflect the international models that is set by OECD or a Kirkpatrick model or Sendai framework. So that's what I understood, that
Mm.
our forms and our mechanism is well aligned with the international models of assessment, whether the training is effective or not. And so far, our participants and every corner of feedback, I found it's really, really effective. And ADPC is playing a leading role in Asia and the Pacific to enhance the capacity of the professional practitioners and the scholars who are dealing with disaster risk reduction.
Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. This is a really great example how this a practical approach to make everyone understanding more about this disaster response and all the risks and to how we prove this. You also already mentioned like how everyone understanding after the um, training also. But sometimes when they already do the training, some we still have a gap between after the training. Like it means like when we are we are
It always
we are in the
happens.
real world sometimes with the
Yes,
paper
yes,
not gonna feel same as exactly how it is, right? And
yeah.
in ADPC, what did you learn about this gap between this policy frameworks and on the ground implementation for DRR? Have you observed something for this training programs, like, or maybe the feedback after the disaster happened? Yeah.
Yes, I think it's always this. Academia, literature, models, and knowledge, it struggles. It struggles while it's implemented, when those ideas
Mm,
implemented, because implementation involves resources. Implementation involves stakeholders who are from different backgrounds, with different necessities, diversified of settings. So yes, you know. Hafsa, I have experience in working in government, non-government sectors. And here in ADPC, I found some very critical and significant issues that highlights the policy framework and implementation flow. Uh, I hope you can see the diagram here,
mm,
how a policy goes to final implementation and global partnership. For example, while disaster management or disaster risk reduction, we have international policy frameworks, international papers, literatures like Sendai Framework, Paris Agreement. COP reports or SDG papers. So these then flows to the national policy. Government of India, government of Bangladesh, government of Pakistan, or
Mm.
Indonesia, Thailand, while making their own policies, they they reflect the international values of disaster management. So it's a challenge when international policies are made. For example, CDOT, JC, gender issues, or issues with different values. National bodies struggle to penetrate those ideas. For example, in Bangladesh, Bangladesh government has standing order on disaster management act or policy, or other
Mm.
governments they have national climate change policies. So then it
Mm.
goes to national level policies. After that, these policies are implemented, operated, and accepted by institutions, government, NGOs, or public-private partnerships, or local government bodies, or even the community groups in the social setting, community settings. All these policies, plans, as you said, frameworks, then goes to final implementation while hazard hits. The impact on the vulnerable people, result during the disaster, what is the result and how these policy implementation make us resilient. And after that, from this all learning, we create our global partnership through
Mm.
success stories or our shared action. So the gaps, you can see the gaps are basically
Mm.
policy and practice. We have policies, but while we practice, we have limited financial and human resources because resource mobilization is a fact. Institutional fragmentation, weak interagency coordination. Some interagency they don't have, I mean, very strong understanding bond. So on that very moment they suffer.
Mm.
Uneven political commitment. Nothing is possible until and unless we have a strong political commitment. Political
Mm.
parties, governments may have their controversies, but they should have a single point opinion. Frameworks like reality, I said you already, Sendai framework, SDG, Paris, everything. Understanding issues. Sometimes stakeholders don't have proper deep understanding on sectoral planning.
Mm.
Weak public-private partnerships, public and private bodies. They are not sometimes very eager to work mostly in disaster or climate-related issues. And also limited political understanding of climate change. Sometimes stakeholders, governments, policymakers, they think DRR is a very technical issue. They neglect it as a governance issue. And also, we have operational gaps like weak community empowerment. If we do not empower our community groups, these all international frameworks, policies, theories, concepts will not give you the proper benefit, proper result. And then, effective early warning system. Some societies, some states, governments, and countries, they still are struggling to initiate a very effective early warning system or multi-hazard early warning system, and also limited application of risk-sensitive development. When we are when we are tracking projects, developing our
Mm.
nation, developing our society, building, constructing, the idea of risk-sensitive development is still ignored or neglected. So this is also a big gap in the real life setting. So what ADPC suggests to the community, to the stakeholders, we suggest institutional strengthening. We suggest engagement of all stakeholders from very community to the government and international bodies, donors, and organizations like ADPC, and long-term monitoring. It's not like we have some ideas, we have some projects. The project is in the end and everything is finished. No, we have to take our learning from today to long-term uh, planning policies and continuous capacity development. And as you said, that training has no end. Generations to
Yeah.
come, they need more training. the participants, they're receiving training, then they need to apply, and they also need to feedback, and they need to train more and more. And also the same thing about us, we need to also innovate, do research, give feedback, take feedbacks from our participants, and to modify, develop our own training module to keep the capacity development process continuous. So
Yeah.
this is the thing. I think talked a lot about it, but yes, it's quite a vast
Yeah.
idea, Hafsa.
Yeah, because this is already you already highlight all the uh this complex of the implementation. You already highlight everything. That's really great. And then how I also curious about how is your personal development through all of this, because you can also this preparing all these things. And what skills or the insight have you developed through your internship that you didn't learn in their formal education? What is surprised you? What it takes to work in this field? How you feel? Yeah.
It's obviously it's I said it's a great opportunity for me to learn from
Mm,
different perspectives. Yes, academia always gives you the
mm,
fundamental ideas of anything, whatever you learn throughout your life. It gives you the foundation, but how to apply, how to initiate your ideas, how to get the benefit out of your knowledge. I am learning this thing from Asian Disaster Preparedness Center here in Bangkok, especially working with diverse teams,
mm,
because uh, it needs to mention that ADPC Knowledge Academy, it works with most of the department of ADPC. But when it is capacity development issue regarding gender equality or social inclusion, or it's about climate finance, or it's about urban resilience, so we have different wings in ADPC,
uh,
and ADPC Academy has the opportunity to work with, I mean, diverse groups.
mm,
So it gives me, it opens the door for me to open and to learn from each and every wings. So, so what kind of skill I'm developing. I'm not
mm,
saying I've
mm,
developed. I'm still learning from all you guys. And
mm.
I have, by this time, I am acquainted, uh, and I'm learning the translating the frameworks into practice, as I mentioned you, from different frameworks, knowledge, theories, and ideas, how these are penetrating to different projects to build social resilience, community resilience. Then agenda design and interactive facilitation. Take this today's program. So this program involves a lot of participations, a lot of participants, planning, agenda design. So I'm learning how international organizations like ADPC design their agenda, cooperate with each other, coordinate with organization outside ADPC, and to facilitate. I am learning those skills.
Yes,
And
yes.
evidence-based training evaluation. I say that we are making scenarios. We are studying our cases because we have different cases, different projects. I mentioned, I exemplified about the D2I in Sri Lanka. So
Mm,
also we have projects in Pakistan. We have projects in um, um, the different Asian countries like Kyrgyzstan. So we have the access to those knowledge for evidence-based training evaluation, and also from our participants,
mm.
institutional decision making, how institutions are taking their decisions. I mentioned already about understanding 360 degree of DRM,
Yeah.
different aspects of disaster risk management, and that's what I'm enjoying a lot. And real life exposure. How all these theories, all these knowledge and literature are do affect in the real life while disaster hits or while we're talking about climate change, and also cross-cultural collaboration. Our staffs, uh, our members, our trainees, our participants, they belong
Yeah.
to different cultures,
Yes.
different religion, different language. So and different context, social issues. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to learn from them, uh, to to be, I mean, very accepting whatever they have to share, and also make an ecosystem of collaboration. Time
Mm.
sensitive content development. Yes, it. I need to elaborate it that the ideas, the theories, those worked 10 years back may not be effective that much today. So ADPC Knowledge Academy works with the time sensitive content development. And I have got the opportunity. My team members, I discuss with April sometimes, and also Bill and Tariq, about modifying our contents based on participants' feedback, the expert we have in house, also the expert visit outside from ADPC, from IUCN or GIZ, from United Nations or UNESCO.
Mm.
So we
Mm.
have a quite good ecosystem to discuss and modify our contents and
Mm.
synthesize of complex information. I mean, we have our uh, data experts. So how we synthesize our information, our data, and I have the opportunity to work with them. And this is a very complex thing. So I am still learning on this. I hope it will have a great impact on my academia or also profession and international collaboration. I said, I have the opportunity to communicate with expert on Asian Institute of Technology or outside. So it gives me it gives me a chance to collaborate with international bodies, and I found how ADPC is collaborating with other organizations regarding making their I exemplified already that disaster needs assessment with FAO, with UNHCR, with IUCN already I mentioned, and also
Mm.
innovative mindset. I generally organization doesn't um, give you much space to think critically, but here in ADPC, I found it's really very enthusiastic about what it interns can give something new, whether think something new, give a new solution, or it's not new from me. I mean, I have a lot of reports, literature, studying those. Is there anything understudied? Is there anything, any gap that we can solve? We can suggest a new idea. So this is the thing. Like um, this is the thing. I said already that okay.
Mm.
So these
Yeah, yeah.
skills I'm going through, and I'm hopeful about that. Yeah. Thank you, Hafsa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is all the skills that's really important, especially when we are working for like cross-border disaster that they have a similar culture but different language and the
Yes.
different people that we need to learn more about this. And sometimes disaster also happen in the different area but in the same time. That's why
Yeah. They
we
have the
need
same goal,
to
right?
have these skills too. Yeah, this is really good and looking forward, but based on everything yet you already learned um, from the emergency experience, what's innovation or approach could strengthen the link between emergency response and community resilience in the region? Like what have you seen that it's really excites you, it's really help you to understand more about um, this for this
Yeah.
region, like a whole region as in the Asia. Yeah.
Yeah. So um, the link between emergency response and community resilience, it's direct. It's very strong. I say to you that if we neglect emergency response, uh, the community resilience and sustainable development, it will be very difficult to achieve. So, so one thing, I'm going to start from one thing that early warning system. I sometimes ask to different people that early warning system, is it a response or is it a preparedness? Because it's early warning system, you're warning your community to be prepared, right? To
Mm,
because the
mm,
disaster is going to hit, a hazard is going to hit. But internationally, the early warning system is part both of preparedness and response. the better your early warning system is, the better response we can make. So, so suggesting innovations to strengthen the link between emergency response and community resilience, I'd focus on anticipatory and people-centered early warning system. I learned that contextual and system-based resilience building, this kind of new ideas or new age ideas sometimes can scale up the level of response and ability to create community resilience. Inclusive and collaborative governance blend the technical and nature-based approaches. So, from the beginning, shift from reactive response to proactive risk management. Hafsa, we don't have the capacity to stop the natural hazard from happening. Like turn off the switch, and from tomorrow, no hazard will be happening. No storm, no overraining, no heat waves. No, we don't have that switch. So we cannot be reactive. We have to be proactive. Okay, there will be disaster. We have to be prepared. So anticipatory and people-centered early warning system. We have to engage our communities. We have to integrate anticipatory action plan with community accessible early warning system, and thus reduces loss and speed up the recovery. Then contextual and system-based resilience. Resilience solution must be locally contextual, must be locally contextual. The local people know how they suffer, what may be their solution. They can give you the real-time authentic data. So they should be integrated. Stakeholders mapping and trend forecasting to reveal systematic vulnerabilities. We need to map out who are our stakeholders. Government, non-government organization, local communities, groups, different professionals, as I said, labor geography. I have said that I have an innovation, we are working on that. Inclusive and collaborative governance, youth, women, volunteers, and also different group with special needs, skills, roles, identities, and policy process. So that should be inclusive, collaborative, and that can make a better ecosystem of climate governance or environmental governance. And most importantly, that I understood that that while we talk about urban resilience, urbanization, most of the urbanization in the world in the last century, it happened on gray infrastructure, modern science, modern development, concrete, bricks, steels, and our nature was neglected sometimes. So modern innovation, modern science, policymakers, scholars here in ADPC, all that suggest blended technical and nature-based approaches. We have to find out nature-based solutions and climate is smart urban and rural design. But we have to ensure digital tools like GIS, remote sensing, or AI-supported risk mapping to create genuine, authentic policy solutions. So these innovations, I could say, I learned from working here and also working with different organizations while collaborating with ADPC and other organizations that can have a very significant role in linking up between emergency response and community resilience upside.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great example. Thank you so much, Simon, for this talk. And actually, uh, these possibilities and the combination of this linkage, it should be what you explaining is really complex, and we want to like put it in the flow that it's gonna be strengthened for this both emergency
Yes.
response and the community resilience better. Actually, our time is not much anymore, and
Yes,
we
yes,
still have a lot of questions for
yes, no
Sumons,
worries. Yeah.
but I'm sorry for you and sorry for everyone that we don't have much time for today. But thank you so much, Sumon. Let me wrap up. a little.
Yeah.
This is a very wonderful conversation for answering all these questions truthfully. And thank you to all participants for your engagement and excellent this question. This question also we gather from all the question and answer in the beginning of the participant response. So for the chat question from Bawana, we will collect that and we also will contact you like how to answer it with Shumon. Yeah. And then before we close, let me quickly recap for some of the key insights from today's conversation, like the collaboration, the effective capacity building requires incorporating diverse perspective and participant feedback and real life case studies. And young professionals bring fresh perspective that help organization bridge the gap between the policy frameworks and ground level implementation. And by Sumon's journey exemplifies the mutual benefit of the mentorship and the fresh perspective. Our organization gained a very good innovative ideas and energy from the emerging professional, while young practitioner gain invaluable hands-on experience and professional development. And for students and young professionals that listening today, I hope this conversation has inspired you and given you practical insight into the realities and the opportunity in the DRR file. And Sumon has shown us organization need your fresh perspective and you will grow tremendously through the practical engagement. Oh, so on behalf of ADPC Academy and our young professional platform, I want to thank you, Mr. Aslam Perwais, as our executive director for supporting this platform, and Mr. Shumon Zihady for sharing his honest reflection and valuable insight in this conversation, and all the participants for your engagement and thoughtful question, and the ADPC Academy team for organizing this session. This part is our ongoing Intern Talk series. We look forward to continuing this dialogue and highlight more voices from the next generation of DRR professionals. And now I'd like to invite our Executive Director, Mr. Aslam Perwais, for his closing remarks. Um, Mr. Aslam, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you
Yeah,
hear
thank
me?
you so much. Yes, 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 yes.
Thank you, Hafsa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sumon. Sorry for joining slightly late. I was driving back home because I have to catch a flight. But first of all, Mr. Shumon, I think is wonderfully eloquently spoken. So I really very proud of having you as an intern. Of course, you are a doctoral student at Asian Institute of Technology. Same is Hafsa. I know that this discussion could have gone on more than 2 hours. I know, but I
Yes.
think perhaps because of the time, and I also always wanted that this kind of interns talk, we also have to have a kind of learning exercise that how with an stipulated time, because often you may have seen in bigger workshops that you go and then the MC or the coordinator or the moderator find it very difficult. So this is also part of that exercise. So I'm really proud of that one, although 5 minutes sometime we don't value, but in normal one is doesn't matter. But I think otherwise it is important that we plan in such a way that we finish within 60 minutes. But coming back to the spirit, and I think interns talk to me is very, very close to me, and I really would like this to continue every month next year. And I would really seek your support, perhaps for today's discussion, if 2 or 3 or 4 of the recent ADPC alumni who has just taken training. Like, last week I was there, 25 government officials from Bangladesh was here, another 10 from Tajikistan was here. If they would also, if you can impress this kind of participant also to join, it actually would help you to understand. So for those organizers, I will suggest that the future one should do. The whole idea, again, I would re-emphasize that interns are a very important pillar when we discuss about an institutional strength, and I have always valued that. Although the interns are not categorized as an employee or implied person in an organization by virtue of the name, but I really feel that the kind of perspective, and particularly I think somewhere in the flyer I saw called the Gen Z perspective, I think we should also accept this terminology that the current variety of people, they really put in a perspective the kind of thing we really would like to enjoy. I think we should continue this one next year. So thank you very much, and I hope that all the participants who has joined has enjoyed it. We certainly would come up with a slightly better format next year, but we certainly would like to do it. So thank you very much, and have a happy new year in advance as well, because we certainly on this platform we will meet next year. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aslam, and for everyone, as what Mr. Aslam said, that we will continue this talk for the next year, and we hope all of you gonna be participate again every month in our talk. Yeah, say thank you so much, and see you next year, everyone. Bye bye. I will end
Thank
this.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye. Happy New Year in advance. Thank you.
Happy New Year too.